All right. Welcome to the Willie PK Gaming Channel, where we go over everything gaming, gameplay, gaming reviews, gaming news, anything of that sort. But I want to get right straight to it. I found one thing that will help you, especially if you're starting out just like I am. Uh, Go ahead and look at and subscribe to the same things that the rest of those that are uh, doing well, what they look at as far as the gaming space, so you can continue to get more information. So one thing I did was I looked at what Legendary Drops looks at, and I subscribed to PC Gamer, that that outlet, and we have yet to discover if that was a mistake or not. But nevertheless, content is content. So let's get straight to this article I thought you might think was interesting. Um, there was an article on PC Gamer about the title of "The Government Thinks That Young Men Are Playing games all day instead of getting jobs because they can mooch off of free healthcare." So we're gonna go over this today and see if you know see if we can sympathize with those that have been, I guess they could feel like they were catching strays by this administration. But let's see if we're actually, if you're like me, let's see if we're actually the target audience for this article. So let me share it with you. Um, I guess we could, hold on. We could generate these takeaways, but I want to kind of sum it up and give my thoughts before we just give you the whole thing. So the premise, I guess we do that just to get the premise. Um, the premise is that, as we can see, the Trump administration is considering implementing work requirements for Medicaid eligibility, claiming that young men are wasting their time playing video games instead of working. So that automatically, I don't know about you, but that well, I would meet that requirement because this is just a hobby. I'm trying to make a name for myself, as you might be as well, and just trying to monetize this hobby, this medium that we all have come to love and cherish. So, like I'm saying, you probably have a full-time job just like I do, so there's no need to throw around like, oh, we're just lazy. 64% of Medicaid recipients under the age of 65 work full or part-time. Okay, just like we do. And most of those who are not working have an illness, disability, caregivers, are in school. Okay, we went to school, we're not working in the jobs that we got a degree for. And so that's why we're seeking out this medium. So before even getting into the last point of that overview, I wanted to just kind of sympathize with those that have felt targeted by by this, not this regime, but this office. They, of course, they're going in solving waste and everything like that, but now I can sympathize now by feeling targeted about what they're saying. Basically, everything is just a waste. You shouldn't be doing this. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve that. Now I kind of get it when they kind of put it, they spun it in this flavor, you know. So the other take I wanted to give was, hey, if we want to talk about waste, let's talk about let's talk about Medicaid that they don't need to be getting at Disney. For if we're talking about who's generating value, let's take away let's take away Disney. They're over there basically doing High School Musicals, and nobody's going to see the movie. You guys know which movie I'm talking about. Uh, so if anybody's wasting something, that definitely seems like a waste. And then on top of the fact, within the same vein of that conversation, on top of the fact that uh that Disney may or may not have well, they definitely didn't make a profit on that last project, the Snow White project. We can talk about on YouTube how much value we are actually generating. You know, niche markets are generating more, of course, more value than even just that one project that I'm pointing to. So, you know, if any, that points to the fact that we are working. It's not like, so if we're, you know, if we're zooming out within this conversation to point to the current climate, like if we're leading, if we're the leaders in the world for intellectual property, then, you know, there's a reason why this work is deemed valuable, and then there's a reason why, you know, people like the Chinese want to steal it, whatever it may be. It might not be videos about video games, but it definitely proves a point that the intellectual market, the intellectual value that is being produced is valuable within itself. And so to this current office, you know, we want to bring back the manufacturing, but we also need to continue to be a leader in the intellectual property. So, you know, that's just my little spiel. I kind of yapped and tried to formulate my thoughts, but let me know what you guys think. The last key takeaway from this article was that the US is one of the few developed countries without universal healthcare, with efforts at universal healthcare available in dozens of other countries around the world. So I guess they're hinting at the fact that they're trying to come up with something, and that, you know, I guess we have to rework it so that people are not taking advantage of the system. This definitely has more than one way to do with people playing video games. You know, that's just targeting. Why video games, of course. More specifically, part of the plan is to implement work requirements for Medicaid eligibility. This is currently only a feature of the program in Georgia, which is where I live. And to justify adding this administrative hurdle for patients in states, Republicans are claiming that access to taxpayer-funded healthcare is causing young men to waste all their time playing video games instead of working. That doesn't really make any sense to me. And then on top of that, like I was saying, the value that we generate from this medium in actual dollars lends to the fact that we are working. And so if I don't know how much it is, I guess we can go look. But if we could pay for it, ourselves, then, I mean, why should it be taken away just because this is how we choose to spend our time? How much is Medicaid? Medicaid is joint. National Pro enrollees spending $7,085 with some states. Not a single price per enrollee. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to have to pay out of pocket for medical insurance anyways, but, you know, they can't say we're not generating value. That's the only thing that I'm saying. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel like this was a joke article? Was it let me know if this is not a an outlet that is should be taken seriously. Like I said, if you like me, we already have full-time jobs. This is a hobby, and we trying to make things work, trying to find different avenues. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. That's Willie PK for the inaugural video. We're on the road to 100. Road to 100, you guys. If you found this valuable at all, or if you found it entertaining at the least, like, subscribe, share, and let's get to it. Appreciate you guys. I'm out.